How to become a high achiever in anything. Introduction. Welcome to this journey of transformation. Take a moment to ask yourself a simple question: what separates ordinary people from those who achieve extraordinary things? Is it talent? Intelligence? Luck? Or is there something deeper that anyone can develop? The truth may surprise you. The world's highest achievers are not successful because life was easier for them. They face fear, rejection, failure, and setbacks just like everyone else. The difference is that they refused to let those obstacles define them. While others gave up, they kept moving. While others waited for the perfect moment, they took action with what they had. Becoming a high achiever isn't about being born gifted. It's about developing the right mindset, building powerful habits, maintaining discipline, and committing to constant improvement. Excellence is not an accident. It is a choice made every single day. In this video, you'll discover the principles that have helped successful people across every field rise above the average. Whether your goal is to build wealth, excel in your career, master a skill, grow a business, or simply become the best version of yourself, these lessons can help you move in that direction. As we go through each chapter, don't just listen. Reflect on your own life. Think about the habits you need to change, the excuses you need to leave behind, and the person you want to become. Real transformation begins when knowledge is turned into action. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every champion was once unknown. Every success story started with one decision, the decision to begin. So clear your mind, remove every distraction, and give yourself permission to grow. This isn't just another motivational video. It's an invitation to challenge your limits, raise your standards, and unlock the potential that has always been within you. Your journey to becoming a high achiever starts now. Achievement is not luck. It is not something reserved for a gifted few. High achievement is a process. It is a way of thinking, acting, learning, and improving every single day. The world celebrates the final result but rarely sees the years of discipline behind it. They see the champion holding the trophy but not the thousands of hours spent practicing. They see the successful entrepreneur but not the countless failures before success. They see confidence but forget the years of self-doubt that came before it. The truth is simple. Every extraordinary life is built through ordinary actions repeated consistently. Today begins your journey. By the end of the series, you will understand how high achievers think, how they make decisions, how they overcome failure, and how they keep moving forward even when life becomes difficult. This is Chapter 1. And everything begins with a decision. Chapter 1. The decision that changes everything. Point 1. Success is a decision before it becomes a result. There is a moment in every great life when everything begins to change. It is not the day money arrives. It is not the day recognition comes. It is not the day people begin to admire you. It is the day you decide that you will no longer settle for less than your potential. Most people wait for the perfect time before they take action. They wait until they feel confident. They wait until they have more money. They wait until someone believes in them. But high achievers understand something different. They know that confidence comes after action, not before it. They know that opportunities are created by those who are willing to move first. If you study the lives of successful athletes, entrepreneurs, inventors, artists, and leaders, you will discover one common pattern. Long before the world believed in them, they believed in themselves. Long before success became visible, they made an invisible decision that they would keep moving forward regardless of the obstacles ahead. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For days or even weeks, nothing seems to happen. If someone looked only at the surface, they might believe the seed had failed. But beneath the soil, something incredible is happening. Roots are growing deeper. The foundation is becoming stronger. The future tree is preparing itself for the day it will finally break through the ground. Your success works exactly the same way. Many people quit because they cannot see immediate progress. They assume nothing is happening. They compare themselves to others who appear to be farther ahead. They become discouraged and stop trying. What they fail to realize is that every effort, every lesson, every mistake, and every small improvement is building a stronger foundation beneath the surface. High achievers trust the process even when the results are invisible. Imagine two people starting the exact same journey. Both have similar abilities. Both have similar opportunities. The first person works only when they feel inspired. Some days they work hard, and other days they do nothing. The second person makes a promise to themselves. Whether they feel motivated or not, they show up every single day and do the work. 1 year later, their lives are completely different. Not because one was born more talented. Not because one had better luck. But because one made a decision and refused to break it. This is where your transformation begins. You must stop asking yourself whether you are capable. Instead, ask yourself whether you are committed. Capability grows over time. Commitment is a choice. Many people underestimate the power of small daily actions. Reading 10 pages every day may not seem impressive. Practicing a skill for 1 hour every day may not seem life-changing. Saving a small amount of money each week may seem insignificant. But over months and years, these small actions compound into extraordinary results. High achievement is never built in one dramatic moment. It is built in thousands of ordinary moments that most people ignore. Every morning you choose discipline over excuses, you become stronger. Every evening you choose learning over wasting time, you become wiser. Every challenge you refuse to run away from increases your confidence. Every promise you keep to yourself builds self-respect. Eventually, the person you once wanted to become starts looking back at the person you used to be. That is the power of one decision repeated every day. From this moment forward, stop introducing yourself by your past failures. Stop defining yourself by your mistakes. Stop believing that yesterday determines tomorrow. Your future is written by the choices you make today. The greatest achievement is not becoming richer than everyone else. It is becoming better than the person you were yesterday. As this chapter comes to an end, remember this truth. High achievers are not people who never fail. They are people who never allow failure to become their identity. Today, you have a choice. You can continue living the same way and expect different results. Or you can decide that this moment marks the beginning of a completely different life. The decision is yours. And every extraordinary journey begins with that single decision. In the next chapter, you will discover why your mindset is the foundation of every achievement, and how changing the way you think can completely transform the way you live. Chapter 2: Develop the mindset of a high achiever. Point 1. Your mindset determines your destination. Every achievement begins in the mind before it appears in reality. The way you think influences the way you act. The way you act determines the habits you build. Those habits shape your character, and your character ultimately creates your future. If you want to become a high achiever in any area of life, the first thing you must transform is not your circumstances but your mindset. Many people believe success starts when they have more money, better opportunities, or stronger connections. High achievers know that success starts long before those things appear. It starts with believing that growth is possible, even when there is no evidence yet. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One sees it as proof that they are not good enough. The other sees it as an opportunity to learn something new. Both experience the same situation, but they leave with completely different results because they interpret the experience differently. Your mindset is like the lens through which you see the world. If the lens is filled with doubt, every obstacle looks impossible. If the lens is filled with growth, every obstacle becomes a lesson. This is why two people can experience the same failure, yet one gives up while the other becomes stronger. High achievers understand that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every mistake teaches a lesson. Every setback reveals a weakness that can be improved. Every obstacle develops strength that comfort never could. Think about a child learning to walk. That child falls again and again. Yet no one expects the child to quit after the first fall. Every failure is simply another step towards success. Somehow, as adults, we forget this lesson. We become afraid of making mistakes. We become embarrassed by failure. We begin avoiding challenges because we fear looking foolish. But growth has never happened inside a comfort zone. Every skill you admire today once felt impossible to the person who mastered it. Every successful speaker was once nervous. Every successful entrepreneur was once inexperienced. Every professional athlete was once a beginner. The difference is simple. They continued learning while others stopped trying. One of the greatest habits you can develop is replacing negative self-talk with constructive thinking. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," ask yourself, "How can I learn to do this?" Instead of saying, "I'm not talented," remind yourself, "Skill is developed through practice." Instead of saying, "This is impossible," ask, "What is the next small step I can take?" These small changes in language may seem insignificant, but they reshape the way your brain responds to challenges. Words become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become results. Protect your mind carefully. The books you read, the videos you watch, the conversations you have, and the people you spend time with all influence your thinking. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, excuses, and hopelessness, those attitudes will eventually become your own. But if you fill your mind with wisdom, encouragement, discipline, and possibility, your thinking will gradually change. High achievers are extremely selective about what they allow into their minds because they know that every thought is planting a seed. Some seeds produce confidence. Some produce fear. Some produce courage. Some produce doubt. You choose which seeds to water. From today onward, stop seeing yourself as someone limited by your past. See yourself as someone who is constantly growing. Every day you learn something new. Every day you become a little stronger. Every day you move one step closer to the person you were created to become. Never underestimate the power of changing the way you think. A changed mindset leads to changed actions. Changed actions lead to changed habits. Changed habits lead to a changed life. And a changed life is what every high achiever is ultimately working toward. In the next point, you will discover why discipline is far more powerful than motivation, and why those who rely only on motivation rarely reach their full potential. Chapter 2: Develop the mindset of a high achiever. Point 2: Discipline will take you where motivation cannot. If there is one quality that separates high achievers from everyone else, it is discipline. Many people believe motivation is the key to success. They wait until they feel excited before they begin. They watch inspiring videos, read powerful quotes, and promise themselves that tomorrow will be different. For a few days, they are full of energy. They wake up early, work hard, and believe they have finally changed. But then reality arrives. The excitement fades. The work becomes difficult. The results are slower than expected. Suddenly, the motivation that once felt so powerful disappears, and with it, their commitment. This is why so many dreams never become reality. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. High achievers understand that feelings change every day. Some mornings you will wake up energized and ready to conquer the world. Other mornings you will feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. If your actions depend on your emotions, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline changes that. Discipline says, "I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not." Think about a professional athlete preparing for a championship. They don't train only on the days they feel inspired. They train when it's raining. They train when they're tired. They train when no one is watching. They train because they know that every session brings them one step closer to excellence. The same principle applies to every area of life. If you want to become financially successful, you must manage your money consistently. If you want to become physically fit, you must exercise consistently. If you want to master a skill, you must practice consistently. If you want to build a successful business, you must work consistently. Notice the word that appears in every sentence. Consistently. Consistency is the language of discipline. Imagine two people trying to improve their lives. The first person works hard only when they feel motivated. They have days of incredible effort followed by weeks of inactivity. The second person commits to 1 hour of focused work every single day. Some days that hour feels easy. Other days it feels difficult. But regardless of how they feel, they keep their promise to themselves. At the end of 1 year, Who do you think will have made greater progress? The answer is obvious. Small, consistent actions will always outperform occasional bursts of effort. Discipline also builds something incredibly valuable: self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that your word matters. You tell yourself, "I can rely on me." That confidence cannot be bought. It is earned through repeated action. Unfortunately, many people unknowingly weaken their self-confidence by breaking promises to themselves every day. They say they'll wake up early, but they don't. They say they'll study, but they procrastinate. They say they'll save money, but they spend it. Over time, they begin to doubt themselves because their actions no longer match their intentions. High achievers understand this danger. They know that integrity isn't just about being honest with others. It's also about being honest with yourself. When you say you will do something, do it. Even if it's a small task. Even if no one else notices. Because every kept promise strengthens your character. There will be days when progress feels invisible. There will be moments when you question whether your hard work is worth it. During those moments, remember this truth. The bamboo tree spends years growing its roots before it rises above the ground. To someone who doesn't understand the process, it appears as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, a strong foundation is being built. Your discipline works the same way. Every hour you spend learning, every page you read, every workout you complete, every skill you practice, every distraction you resist, you are strengthening the roots of your future success. One day, people will see your achievements and call you lucky. They won't see the countless mornings you chose discipline over comfort. They won't see the evenings you stayed focused while others wasted time. They won't see the sacrifices you made when no one was applauding. But you will know. Because greatness is always built in private before it is rewarded in public. From this day forward, stop asking yourself if you feel motivated. Ask yourself a better question. What does the person I want to become do today? Then do exactly that. Not once. Not occasionally. But every single day. Because discipline is not just something high achievers practice. It is the lifestyle they choose. In the next point, you'll discover why mastering your time is one of the greatest advantages you can ever develop, and how every successful person learns to make every hour count. Point 3. Master your time before you try to master your goals. Every person on earth receives the same 24 hours each day. The wealthy receive 24 hours. The poor receive 24 hours. The successful receive 24 hours. The unsuccessful receive 24 hours. Time is the one resource that cannot be borrowed, replaced, or recovered. Once a minute is gone, it is gone forever. High achievers understand this better than anyone else. They know that success is not built by finding more time. It is built by making better use of the time they already have. Many people complain that they don't have enough time to learn a new skill, exercise, start a business, or read books. Yet they spend hours scrolling through social media, watching television without purpose, or worrying about things they cannot control. The problem is rarely a lack of time. The problem is a lack of priorities. High achievers ask themselves one question before beginning any task. Will this move me closer to the life I want? If the answer is yes, they give it their full attention. If the answer is no, they learn to say no. Learning to say no is one of the greatest skills you will ever develop. Every time you say yes to distractions, you are saying no to your dreams. Every hour wasted today is an opportunity that tomorrow can never return. That may sound harsh, but it is also empowering. Because it means your future is shaped by the choices you make every single day. Story. There was once a young carpenter who dreamed of owning the biggest furniture company in his city. He worked for a small workshop during the day, earning just enough to survive. Every evening, his friends invited him to spend hours talking, playing games, and complaining about life. For a while, he joined them. Then one evening, he realized something. 5 hours every night multiplied by 7 days was 35 hours every week. That was almost another full-time job. Instead of wasting those hours, he made a different decision. Every evening after work, he stayed in the workshop to improve his craft. He learned new woodworking techniques, studied successful furniture makers, practiced better designs, and saved every extra coin he earned. His friends laughed at him. They called him obsessed. They said he was working too hard. Months turned into years. One day, the owner of the workshop decided to retire and offered to sell the business. Because the young carpenter had been saving consistently, he was able to buy it. Years later, the same friends who once mocked his discipline walked into his showroom as customers. They saw beautiful furniture displayed across a massive building and asked him the secret to his success. He smiled and answered, "I didn't have more time than you. I simply treated my time differently." That is the difference between ordinary people and high achievers. High achievers invest time the way wise investors invest money. They expect every hour to produce a return. That doesn't mean they never rest. Rest is important. But there is a difference between resting to recover and wasting time without purpose. Rest gives you strength. Distraction steals your future. Imagine what could happen if you invested just one focused hour every day into becoming better. 1 hour reading. 1 hour practicing. 1 hour learning. 1 hour improving your health. 1 hour building your dream. At first, the progress would seem small. But after 1 year, you would have invested more than 365 hours into becoming a different person. That is the power of consistency. Time is always moving. The question is whether you are moving with it. One day, you will look back at this season of your life. Make sure you can say, "I used my time to build the future I dreamed of." Because every great achievement begins with a single hour used wisely. In the next point, you'll discover why stepping outside your comfort zone is the turning point that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Point 3. Master your time before you try to master your goals. Every person on earth receives the same 24 hours each day. The wealthy receive 24 hours. The poor receive 24 hours. The successful receive 24 hours. The unsuccessful receive 24 hours. Time is the one resource that cannot be borrowed, replaced, or recovered. Once a minute is gone, it is gone forever. High achievers understand this better than anyone else. They know that success is not built by finding more time. It is built by making better use of the time they already have. Many people complain that they don't have enough time to learn a new skill, exercise, start a business, or read books. Yet they spend hours scrolling through social media, watching television without purpose, or worrying about things they cannot control. The problem is rarely a lack of time. The problem is a lack of priorities. High achievers ask themselves one question before beginning any task. Will this move me closer to the life I want? If the answer is yes, they give it their full attention. If the answer is no, they learn to say no. Learning to say no is one of the greatest skills you will ever develop. Every time you say yes to distractions, you are saying no to your dreams. Every hour wasted today is an opportunity that tomorrow can never return. That may sound harsh, but it is also empowering. Because it means your future is shaped by the choices you make every single day. Story. There was once a young carpenter who dreamed of owning the biggest furniture company in his city. He worked for a small workshop during the day, earning just enough to survive. Every evening, his friends invited him to spend hours talking, playing games, and complaining about life. For a while, he joined them. Then one evening, he realized something. 5 hours every night multiplied by 7 days was 35 hours every week. That was almost another full-time job. Instead of wasting those hours, he made a different decision. Every evening after work, he stayed in the workshop to improve his craft. He learned new woodworking techniques, studied successful furniture makers, practiced better designs, and saved every extra coin he earned. His friends laughed at him. They called him obsessed. They said he was working too hard. Months turned into years. One day, the owner of the workshop decided to retire and offered to sell the business. Because the young carpenter had been saving consistently, he was able to buy it. Years later, the same friends who once mocked his discipline walked into his showroom as customers. They saw beautiful furniture displayed across a massive building and asked him the secret to his success. He smiled and answered, "I didn't have more time than you. I simply treated my time differently." That is the difference between ordinary people and high achievers. High achievers invest time the way wise investors invest money. They expect every hour to produce a return. That doesn't mean they never rest. Rest is important. But there is a difference between resting to recover and wasting time without purpose. Rest gives you strength. Distraction steals your future. Imagine what could happen if you invested just one focused hour every day into becoming better. 1 hour reading. 1 hour practicing. 1 hour learning. 1 hour improving your health. 1 hour building your dream. At first, the progress would seem small. But after 1 year, you would have invested more than 365 hours into becoming a different person. That is the power of consistency. Time is always moving. The question is whether you are moving with it. One day, you will look back at this season of your life. Make sure you can say, "I used my time to build the future I dreamed of." Because every great achievement begins with a single hour used wisely. In the next point, you'll discover why stepping outside your comfort zone is the turning point that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Point 4. Step out of your comfort zone to discover your true potential. There is an invisible prison that keeps millions of people from becoming who they were meant to be. It has no walls, no locked doors, no security guards. Yet countless dreams die inside it every single day. That prison is called the comfort zone. The comfort zone feels safe because nothing unexpected happens there. You know what to expect. You avoid risks, difficult conversations, new challenges, and unfamiliar opportunities. At first, it feels peaceful. But over time, that comfort slowly turns into regret. High achievers understand a powerful truth: comfort and growth can never live in the same place. Every time you learn a new skill, you feel uncomfortable. Every time you speak in front of an audience for the first time, you feel nervous. Every time you start a business, apply for a better job, or chase a bigger dream, uncertainty follows. That feeling is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you are growing. Most people mistake discomfort for danger. They think, "If this feels difficult, maybe it isn't for me." But the reality is the opposite. The greatest opportunities in life are usually hidden behind temporary discomfort. Think about the first time you learned to ride a bicycle. You probably fell. You may have scraped your knees. You may have wanted to quit. But imagine if you had stopped after your first fall. You would never have experienced the freedom that came from learning. Life works the same way. Every new level requires a new version of you. That version cannot be created by repeating the same comfortable habits every day. Story. A young woman dreamed of becoming a successful public speaker. She had incredible ideas, but she was terrified of speaking in front of people. Whenever she imagined standing on a stage, her hands became sweaty, her voice trembled, and fear took over. For years, she convinced herself that she simply wasn't born to speak. One day, she attended a seminar where the speaker said something that changed her life forever. He said, "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear." Those words stayed with her. The following week, she joined a small community group where members gave 5-minute speeches. Her first presentation was far from perfect. She forgot parts of her speech. She stumbled over her words. Her voice shook from beginning to end. She went home feeling embarrassed. But she returned the next week. Then the next. And the next. Each speech became a little better than the last. Months later, she was confidently speaking to hundreds of people. Years later, she was invited to speak at conferences around the country, inspiring thousands with her story. People often asked her, "When did you become confident?" She smiled and replied, "I became confident because I kept doing the thing that scared me." That is how confidence is built. Not by waiting, but by acting. Fear loses its power every time you face it. Many people spend their lives waiting for fear to disappear before taking action. High achievers take action first. Eventually, fear disappears because it has nothing left to control. Ask yourself today, what dream have you postponed because it feels uncomfortable? What opportunity have you ignored because you were afraid of failing? What skill have you refused to learn because you were worried about looking inexperienced? Remember this. Every expert was once a beginner. Every champion was once unknown. Every successful person once stood exactly where you are now. The only difference is that they took the first step. Growth always begins where comfort ends. So don't run from challenges. Welcome them. Don't fear difficult situations. Learn from them. Don't avoid failure. Use it as your greatest teacher. Your comfort zone may protect you from failure, but it will also protect you from success. The life you dream about is waiting on the other side of the fears you are willing to face. Every step you take outside your comfort zone expands your confidence, strengthens your character, and prepares you for greater opportunities. One day, you'll look back and realize that the things which once terrified you became the very things that transformed your life. In the next point, you'll discover why lifelong learning is one of the greatest habits shared by every high achiever and how staying teachable gives you an advantage that never expires. Point 5. Never stop learning, because growth never stops. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that education ends when school ends. High achievers know that graduation is not the finish line. It is only the beginning. The world is changing every single day. New technology appears. Industries evolve. Skills that were valuable yesterday may become outdated tomorrow. Those who refuse to learn are eventually left behind, not because they lack talent, but because they stopped growing. Learning is one of the greatest investments you can ever make because no one can take it away from you. Money can be lost. A business can fail. A job can disappear. But the knowledge and skills you develop stay with you for the rest of your life. That is why high achievers become lifelong students. They read books while others scroll endlessly through social media. They listen to educational podcasts while driving. They attend seminars and workshops. They ask questions instead of pretending to know everything. Most importantly, they remain humble enough to admit there is always more to learn. The moment you believe you know it all is the moment your growth begins to slow. A curious mind is a growing mind. Imagine carrying 2 buckets every day. One bucket is labeled knowledge. The other is labeled excuses. Every day, you can choose which one to fill. If you fill the bucket of knowledge, your opportunities grow. If you fill the bucket of excuses, your limitations grow. The choice is yours. Story. There was an old fisherman who had spent over 40 years fishing on the same river. He knew every corner of the water and believed there was nothing left for him to learn. One morning, a young fisherman arrived. He carried strange equipment, used different techniques, and studied the behavior of the fish instead of relying only on experience. The older fisherman laughed. "I've been fishing longer than you've been alive," he said. "You have nothing to teach me." As the weeks passed, something unexpected happened. The young fisherman consistently caught more fish. People from nearby villages came to buy from him because his catch was always larger. Curious, the older fisherman finally asked, "What is your secret?" The young man smiled and replied, "I respect your experience. But every week I learn one new technique. I never assume I've mastered everything." The older fisherman realized that experience without learning becomes routine. From that day forward, he started studying again. He asked questions. He observed others. He practiced new methods. Within a few months, his results improved dramatically. His greatest breakthrough came not because he worked harder, but because he became teachable again. That story reminds us of an important truth. Experience is valuable. But experience combined with continuous learning is powerful. Never allow pride to become the reason you stop improving. Some people are too proud to ask for help. Too proud to read beginner books. Too proud to admit they made a mistake. High achievers are different. They understand that asking questions is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. They know that every expert they admire was once a student. Make learning part of your daily routine. Read a few pages every day. Learn one new idea each week. Practice one new skill each month. Seek mentors who have already achieved what you hope to accomplish. Don't just collect information. Apply it. Knowledge without action changes nothing. Applied knowledge changes everything. Years from now, the person who keeps learning will be living a completely different life from the person who decided they already knew enough. Remember, your greatest competition is not another person. It is the version of yourself that refuses to grow. Choose to become better every day. Read when others are distracted. Study when others are complaining. Practice when others are making excuses. Keep learning long after everyone else believes they know enough. Because the day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. And high achievers never stop growing. As this chapter comes to an end, remember this. Your future is built by what you repeatedly learn, repeatedly practice, and repeatedly become. In the next chapter, you'll discover how your daily habits quietly shape your destiny and why small actions, repeated consistently, create extraordinary lives. Chapter 3: The Power of Daily Habits. Point 1. Small habits create extraordinary results. If someone asked you what changes a person's life, you might think of a big opportunity, a huge promotion, or a life-changing event. But the truth is much simpler. Your life is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do every single day. High achievers understand that success is rarely built through one giant action. Instead, it is built through thousands of small decisions that seem insignificant in the moment, but become life-changing over time. One healthy meal won't transform your body. One workout won't make you strong. One book won't make you wise. One day of hard work won't make you successful. But when these actions become daily habits, they begin to reshape your future. Think of a single drop of water. One drop seems powerless. But if that same drop falls continuously on a rock for years, it can carve through solid stone. Not because the water is stronger than the rock, but because consistency is stronger than force. Your habits work exactly the same way. Every choice you make is like casting a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose to wake up early, you vote for discipline. When you choose to study instead of wasting time, you vote for growth. When you choose to exercise, you vote for health. When you choose to save money instead of spending it carelessly, you vote for financial freedom. Day after day, these votes begin to shape your identity. Eventually, you no longer have to force yourself to do the right thing. It becomes part of who you are. That is the hidden power of habits. Story. There was a young boy who dreamed of becoming one of the best piano players in the world. His family wasn't wealthy. They couldn't afford expensive teachers. They couldn't buy the finest instruments. But his grandfather gave him one piece of advice. Practice for 1 hour every single day. Never miss a day. The boy followed that advice faithfully. Some days he was excited. Other days he was tired after school. Sometimes he felt like quitting because his friends were outside playing. Still, he sat in front of the piano every evening and practiced. 1 hour. Every day. Weeks became months. Months became years. Slowly, people began to notice his improvement. His fingers moved with confidence. His music touched people's hearts. Eventually, he earned a scholarship to one of the Düringen